Hey everybody, it's time for another episode of Webtoon Wednesdays. It's coming out on time, hopefully, but don't forget. Anyway, so this video is just going to be me talking about Neon Revenge. Because Neon Revenge went on a bit of a hiatus, but it's back now. And so basically, I think I've talked about it in previous videos briefly. But Neon Revenge is basically take the concept of like anxiety war where they confront pedophiles and stuff. Next to pedophiles, enter like bullies, and instead of just like outing them, they beat the shit out of them. It's basically what it is, and it's a YouTube channel. It's a YouTube channel, you know. It's a it's another website, but it's basically YouTube, and it's kind of how real life YouTube is, where like the big channels get all like the support from like sponsors and shit. It's like legitimately, it's like except instead of like giving money to like Logan Paul types, it gives like they give money to like beat people who beat the shit out of fucking bullies. And people who don't give it to people who record a dead body in Aokigahara Forest, or just say the N word a lot. So basically, that's what it all has been. The recent couple chapters have been interesting because Songbin, the main character of Neon Revenge, the character known as Neon Mask, he's been fighting something called Nopagu, which is like this shitty fucking like delinquent group, but his real target has been Cholfam, which is like I'm assuming it's kind of like 4chan on fucking steroids. But so the last couple chapters have been focusing on Songbin found this dude who was stealing bike chains and bikes and stuff for a recurring character called Domin, who's the leader of Nopagu. I think that's how you pronounce that. But so Domin's like this leader. Neon Mask and his moderators have just like destroyed the shit out of Nopagu, basically. And this kid was basically, he's kind of simple, kind of like What's Eating Gilbert Grape, like Leo's character in that movie. It's kind of like that to a certain extent. Kind of like naive. I don't know if he's necessarily developmentally challenged. But he's like kind of a naive, wants to do right by his mom. So he's kind of easily manipulated. That's how we got him with Domin. Songbin found him. It's like, don't do that. No, whatever. The most recent chapter, and I can't wait for the next, the chapter coming up, because this chapter that just came out is Domin. The kid got like a referral from Neon Mask / Songbin to go like get a job at a good reputable organization, like a good store or whatever. And so he's like, "Oh, dressed up nice," and Domin comes around and is like, "What the fuck is this? What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm going to get a job," whatever. And so his mom comes out, who has a medical condition. It's like not life threatening necessarily, but if she neglects it, things could go badly. And I think that it's implied that she was kind of neglecting herself because she's so worried about her son. She comes out and smacks the shit out of Doman. He's like, leave my fucking son alone. And Doman smacks the shit out of her back. And the kid is like, I'm assuming he got stolen, abducted, kidnapped by Doman. And then all of that happens. Sungmin gets a phone call. And he's like, what's going on? And he's like, well, the kid didn't show up for his interview. And I went around to see what was going on. Couldn't find him, but I found his mom on the ground and she has a concussion. And Songbin hears this turn, ends the call, leaves his phone on the fucking table, and just literally books it, presumably to beat the shit out of Doman. And it was just kind of fucking. It's good to read that. Actually, I want to talk about one more. Get Schooled, which is one I've talked about in previous episodes, I'm sure. This has been more of a. This story has not been. The last couple chapters haven't been about Mr. Na, the main character of it, going to a school. It's more he's been kind of keeping tabs on an abusive asshole because I think one of his acquaintances noticed that one of her wards, Mincio, I apologize. It's a Korean name, Minseo. I'm assuming it's Mincio or Mincio. Basically went missing. And before he went missing, had some health issues. Then basically went homeschool or whatever. And dude stumbled upon the kid on the street and is like, "What's going on?" Oh, that's right. He stumbled across him on the street. The friend or the teacher or whatever comes up later, in the middle of the story. Finds his kid basically just abandoned on the street. Mr. Na brings the kid back to his apartment, and the dad, it turns out, is an abusive asshole. And I'm just going to compress a bunch of stuff quickly. Mr. Na, finds out the guy's an abusive asshole, moves into the apartment next door, basically keeping tabs on this abusive dad. And it beats the shit out of him when he fucking, when he legit just kicks the shit out of his kid. Mr. Doc comes in and kicks him within an inch of his fucking life. Sets him up at a job. Then the mother comes back, and the mother's even fucking worse than the dad. And it's so fucked up because the dad's justification for why he was beating the shit out of his son is because his mother has tried to kill him numerous times. And so he's trying to keep him in line so that way she doesn't snap and fucking. But she tried to drown the most recent time when she came back. She tried to drown him, and dude kicks the shit out of her. And then Mr. Knock comes what the fuck is going on? Beats the shit out of him. Calls the police, is like, yo, I need an ambulance. Kid almost drowned. And the dad's life is in danger. And, he says this shit, right? As he's beating the shit out of this fucking person. And, the cops come, and he's, on the phone still, reared up, about to punch the dude. And the cops come in, and he's just And then it cuts actually to him in jail, and his dad, who's also the Minister of Education, comes in and bails him out. And fuck it, it's so good. Um, I'll briefly mention Manager Kim, because Manager Kim is kind of the same thing where it's like dad, or it's like this is actually different because his dad, who's this basically, he's a South Korean wonder weapon, basically. Um, fucking just wants to be like a good dad, basically forces the South Korean military to give him, like, just let him be a civilian. Daughter stands up to bullies, gets like knocked unconscious, near death. The dad finds out about his daughter being dead, and fucking moves heaven and earth to try and get her body back. But then he realizes, oh, she's still alive. Like, legitimately, this motherfucker is like psychotically strong and just outrageously like devoted to his daughter. Like, it's kind of fucking insane how strong this dude is. He's like a realistic One Punch Man. He's a realistic Saitama to a certain extent. I don't know how realistic some of the things he does is, but he's way more realistic. To he's not like swatting flies and destroying things. Like, he's nowhere near that strong, but he's still pretty strong. And he's just wrecking shit, and that's about it. Um, yeah, I'll talk about uh, Teenage Mercenary next week. Peace out, everybody. Have a wonderful fucking day.